going to continue with our delving into the book Mareh Yaakov. As with each shiur, we try to begin with something from the Parsha of the week to see if we can apply the techniques we've learned to portions of the Tanakh, especially that have not had their perush written. In Parshat Truma, we read about the design and dimensions of the fixtures and courtyard of the tabernacle of the Mishkan, and at the end of the parsha, we're talking about the courtyard, and we have a very cryptic line. Orech hachatzer, the length of the courtyard, me'aba amah, is 100 amot. The rochav, and the width, 50 b'chamishim, 50 in the 50 is the direct literal translation. And we have a variety of answers that are given how a dimension of width can have two numbers. 50 by 50 can't be the width. If you've got the length of 100, and by the way, you've got a height of 5, so it's not the height. So you've got 100, it's 5 tall, and it's 50 by 50 wide. So what does this mean? So we get 3 answers. We get the general recognized English translation, and I just Onkelos doesn't give us any hints, nor does. Okay, Yonatan Ben Uziel gives yet another answer. So we've got a variety of answers. The commonest answer that's given to Chamishim b'Chamishim is that it's 50 everywhere. That it's 50 uniformly. So that's one. Now we're going to take Rashi's answer. Rashi's answer says you've got more space up front, but the part that's used for the courtyard that's got a cover is 50 by 50. So the covered part is 50 by 50, and there's more space as well until you get to the outer fence, if you will. So again, the 50 by 50 is saying that that's the part that has koma, that's the part that has a height. And then we get to Balaturim's answer, which requires a little bit of mathematical prowess. What he says is that the tabernacle total area was 50 by 100, or 5,000. The temple that Solomon built was 500 by 500, or 250,000 amos squared. So if you take 5,000 and you multiply it by 50, you get the 250,000 square amos that the actual temple was. So Chamishim, 50, b'Chamishim, in the 50, so 1/50th of what the eventual temple is going to be. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the notes, and we're going to try and figure out which one of these answers is closest to what the notes tell us. And again, we realize this is a single translation, so it's not going to support all 3 answers, and we're going to try to understand which one of the answers it fits best to. So this is munach rabi'i. Whenever you have that combination after the first munach, there's always a psik. There's always a forced pause. So we're going to have that first word, the rochav, and the width, with the munach separated from what's come out before, which makes sense. The length is one thing. The width is separate. The width is a different dimension than the length. So of course it gets the strong separation of the munach. But then afterwards, we're going to pause again after the word width. Now don't forget, we're giving each word here its own sentence and phrase. So the width is a different dimension than the length, and the width is something that is unique in and of itself because it's got a pause afterwards as well. That doesn't lead us to any one of those 3 answers yet. Chamishim, 50. The first time we say the word 50. Again, another munach. So, separated out from the dimension of the width, we have this number 50. So this number 50 is standing by itself. And then, b'chamishim, in the 50, it has a revi'i. So this is going to stand by itself, have breadth, have standing. So this, in my opinion, tells us of Balaturim's answer. That we've got the final product, the temple that Solomon is going to build, is the main thing that's going to stay standing for so long, and that's got the breadth and the width of even wider than the first 50, and that's why it gets the Revi'i. It stands there all alone with its own greater dimension. And the first 50 leads up to it, tells us about it, but it's not where things are going to end. It's 50 that's going to continue on and turn into something bigger even later. So here we have a number of different drashim that tell us what this odd phraseology means. 50 everywhere, 50 by 50 is just the front courtyard piece, or 50, which is 1/50th of the eventual. And I think from our perspective, we have to say that this supports Balaturim's contention that it's 50, which is 1/50th of the eventual size of the temple that Solomon will build.
Sure.
So, like a very interesting way to see how a difficult phrase gives us an answer. And here we know the answer. We're playing Jeopardy. We know the answer. We got to figure out what the question is.
Yeah.
So we got to figure out which one of these it fits most fast. And I think that was a good exercise to go through.
Sure.